Some coolers aren't the biggest or the baddest. Some offer when every millimeter is a premium, and when even being as tall as RAM itself can jeopardize a cooler's chance at actually fitting. Where a large, silent, dual-tower cooler would be impossible to fit, and really just unreasonable to even consider. That is where today's product comes in. At a mere 47mm tall, the Cryorig C7 is surprisingly small, yet don't let its size fool you. Sitting at 295 grams on the heatsink alone, 357 grams if you add the actual fan on top of that, it's well surprisingly capable. So what can this Goliath masquerading as David actually do? Stay tuned to find out. So Cryorig, who are they? They are a fairly mainstream, big-name brand, particularly in the CPU cooling space due to their honestly pretty competitively priced coolers. Ranging from their own Cryorig R1 to their more mainstream Cryorig M9 and H7 tower coolers, to of course this, the C7 series. The whole series in fact comes a whole range of colour options and, well, different specialities, such as the C7 Copper and the C7G, which both have got a copper heatsink. Yes, that's right, copper heat pipes, copper base and a copper heatsink, and one of them is also coated in graphene to increase thermal performance. And there is even a C7 RGB variant for those of you that like that. The standard C7 then. Since 2015 this has been cooling small form factor builds pretty adequately considering its diminished size, and can even cool high-end desktop CPUs, more on that later. Sitting at a pretty charitable 25 to 40 pounds or... wait. What? 100 to 160 American rupees? Damn, that's some bad news for you Americans out there. Okay, so this review is going to be a bit different, considering that value has gone out the window into the next country and, well, is sitting here now. Anyway, let's get on with it. In the box then, you get the heatsink itself, a 2500 RPM fan, the mounting backplate, 4 nuts, 4 plastic spaces, all the manuals, the fill paste that is provided by Cryorig as their own CP7, as well as a very nice screwdriver with an 8mm socket on the end of it. Kudos for that, Cryorig, as the Cooler Master solution just wasn't up to scratch, and in the UK at least they cost roughly the same. The biggest point of contention then for me and any cooler is mounting the blasted things, and well, I can honestly say this has got to be the best mounting system I have dealt with in a very long time. It's as simple as apply thermal paste, put on your heatsink. If you have room for your backplate, put that on. If not, put the spacers on, tighten the nuts, and you're off to the races. And, well, Cryorig's own 4-minute claim of get started within 4 minutes, I'd say if anything, that's, to be fair, pretty grim. As with a little bit of practice and with this very nice tool, seriously, I love this tool, Cryorig, kudos, you can get it up and running within 2 minutes. So this relatively cheap slash hugely premium cooler, well, it can perform on stock CPUs. Overclocking is just, it's a no-go. Because due to its diminished size, it just doesn't have any thermal capacity beyond what you start off with. As a result, you have got no overclocking headroom, and yeah. But that being said, if it does, if your case can fit a motherboard, it will fit this cooler. So a big tower case, don't get this. Just get something bigger. A micro ATX, same deal, don't get this. But mini ITX, and particularly very small form factor mini ITX, such as say a point of sales case, this is definitely a great candidate for, as it will always fit. Looks wise as well then, I actually really like it, with the white, silver and black being pulled off really well in my opinion. The nickel plating giving it a gorgeous silver sheen, and the copper heat pipes, which are also nickel plated, providing it with some pretty impressive performance despite its size, which I should probably get onto. Now, like I said in the Hyper 212 review, please, for the love of God, do not overclock on this. In this case, it should be really, for the love of God, do not overclock on this. So firmly then, without a doubt, this has been the weakest cooler we've had on our standardized bench so far. But it must be kept in mind that the Noctua NHD15 can reach 73 degrees Celsius, so keep in mind that is a cooler that weighs literally 3.5 times as much on the heatsink alone compared to this, and Actually, the result of the performance was... well, anyway, let's get into the numbers. At idle then, the cooler was sitting at a relatively warm 43 degrees Celsius on the package, 45 degrees Celsius on the hottest core number 4, for a change actually. And the coolest it got was 41 degrees Celsius on core number 3, pretty warm for an idle CPU. And not the worst it could have been, but definitely not ideal for anything at that level. But if it's all you can get in a cramped space compared to what it is, to be fair on it, running on an overclock processor that I've seen pulse of 120 watts. Moving on to the stress test then, well, let's just say it was an absolute wash, with peak temperatures reaching 99 degrees Celsius on the hottest cores and package. At least 2 cores, by the way, reached this, and core number 4 being the coolest at 93 degrees Celsius. Again, incredibly hot, and not a temperature you want to be running at in any case. Again, proving my point of do not overclock this cooler. And remember, the 117th core. Testing cooler is as unsafe as extremely testing efficient as they may be, so you don't have to. The average temps do look remarkably cool in comparison, though this is due to, well, the CPU underclocking itself to keep it stable, and again, this underclock actually still hitting the thermal limit. It's sat at 3.5 GHz on average, over a GHz slower than its rated overclock. Anyway, the temps were 89 degrees Celsius on average on the package, 88 degrees Celsius on the hottest core number 1, and 76 degrees Celsius on the coolest core number 4. And these were the average temps when it is actually underclocked beyond stock settings due to thermal output. Moving on to other negatives then, well, you have the noise. Due to it being a relatively small fan running at some 2500 RPM, well, it's incredibly loud and whiny. Whilst it is rated to sit at 30 dBA, which is between 10.8 and 5.4 dBA more than the Noctua NHD15, and is 1 dBA less than the Coolmaster Hyper 212 Evo. Whilst the Evo was a little whiny, this by comparison is just so much worse. So if you do want a quiet build, I definitely suggest that you look elsewhere. For those of you wanting RGB, what do you know? There is one. At an even bigger premium in America. And those of you that might want even a better performing one, there's also other options, such as, like the C7 copper, at an even bigger premium. Don't get me wrong, if you're in the UK, the prices are reasonable, and I say it's worth it. But if you're in America, I just can't comfortably recommend it. I mean, hell, I did a straight currency conversion, and it's over $100 more expensive simply over the pond. That's insane. So what's the usual closing thoughts? Now, this one isn't an easy for me, because on the one hand, in one country it's a great deal. It's a really premium air cooler for not premium money. But in another country, it's just so out of whack. Like, if I have no prior knowledge, I would say this is worth £50 to maybe $60. Yet, in the UK, it's half that, which is great, but in the US, it's between 3 and 4 times that, and that is absolutely insane. So if it wasn't a point of contention, I would honestly say for small on-the-go PCs, and, that aren't for overclocking, like workloads and gaming, I'd say it's great. So, I'm going to do this a bit differently. If you can get it at the correct price, for the correct purpose, I will say it's honestly an 8 out of 10, for its supreme build quality and just general ease of use and goodness. But if you're paying full sticker price in the US, it's not worth it. You're better off getting off, just sticking with your own CPU's stock cooler. And for that, in the US, I give it a 2 out of 10. Anyway, this has been the 117th con. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Any thoughts or questions, leave them in the form of a comment below. Don't forget to go ahead and check out my Facebook and Twitch page, and, well, don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay tuned for all the latest gaming and tech content from me, the 117th Con. This is the 117th Con, signing off. Have a good day, folks.